Hello, everyone, and Happy New Year from the Union Pacific Railroad Evanston Subdivision in HO Scale. My name is Daryl Cruz, owner and builder of the layout, and your host for the very last weekly update of 2023. Update actually number 47. I did 50 last year. This year only 47. And I guess you could say I'm slacking a little bit, but definitely pretty happy with getting 47 of them done. I hope it was something that you enjoyed following, and I hope that you continue to follow in the upcoming year. This update is just a few little things that I did. I was very busy with the holidays and guests and everything, so I didn't get a whole lot done, but I did take some time to just do a bunch of touch-ups. Basically, I wanted to take care of some things that were kind of annoying me and things that needed to be done to make the layout look as realistic as possible. One thing I needed to do was these trees. I painted them the trunks gray, and as you can see, it's a little too light. It's too light of a gray. It doesn't look realistic. So I wanted to do something with those trees, fix that up, and then I still had an issue with these lights hanging down and causing a shadow on the backdrop. Nothing is worse than a shadow on a backdrop, so I definitely wanted to do something about that as well. Here's another area. Now I had to be concerned about some signal wires there, and there also had a couple areas here where I wanted to kind of get the light up. Wasn't too bad right there, but I think I put something in there also. Then this was really kind of annoying, this little whatever that electronic device is there on the power supply. It was hanging down, and it's definitely a distraction. I wanted to get that up. I couldn't use my staple gun because it's right on where that piece of wood is. So I wanted to take care of the trees. I wanted to take care of the lights hanging down. And then I also had some cracking along the edge, as you can see here. So I wanted to do something about that also. And not only was there cracking, but also you can see there's some patches of black. Here the cracking was really bad. Now I'm not sure if I'm going to get rid of the cracking altogether because the hardboard is very thin. And when you lean up against it, there are some places where it moves a little bit. But this is what I use to get the lights up on the backdrop. The upper level is made of 1x2s, and most of the support ones are 10 inches long. So I thought I would just add a bunch, and these are just for the lights only. And I cut them to be 6 inches so that they would fit in between. And I just added some glue and used a pencil to hold them up while the glue dried. And I have to say, wood to wood and white glue dries pretty fast. It's like 20 minutes and it's ready to go. But anyway, I want to have something to attach the lights to so that it wouldn't be seen. So I was kind of testing it out a little bit here, figuring out what would be the best way to get that. Basically wanted the lights to be facing towards the backdrop too. At least definitely not towards the edge, because then it'd be definitely more visible. Okay, so if you're short, you're still going to see it. Sorry. This is where I was kind of wanting it to get to where it would face the other way. But I have just one of them in right there. So this is at eye level. So just with that one piece in there, definitely made a difference. I went ahead and put in the other ones. I had 4 of them cut there that you could see. You notice I had to kind of improvise a little bit on the pencil braces and so forth. I ended up putting in 5 of them all together. And again, now you can see also the improvement. The big thing to look at is that the shadow on the back is eliminated. Here's another thing I wanted to take care of. After painting and ballasting the track, I had to take some time to remove little bits of ballast from the side of the rails. Obviously, you don't have rocks hanging from the side of the rails. So I went through and kind of scraped some of that off, and in doing so, as you can see, some of the paint got scraped off as well. So there's some patches of scraped off paint here and there, especially where there was areas that I needed to clear by the points, and then also around the frog. So I wanted to get some paint on there to kind of take care of all that. And then there's some places where I had to resolder and so forth, and do a little bit of repairs after the ballasting. So I wanted to get that taken care of also, get that touched up a little bit. You can kind of see some of the patches of scraped off paint. And all these turnouts all along there. Now here you can see basically what I did. I had some brown, rail brown paint from Badger Flex paint, and it's basically designed for airbrushes, so it's real thin. So I brushed that on. Now what you saw there was just the application of the paint just in a few places, and still needing to remove the paint from the top of the rails. You'll see in a little bit what it looks like completely finished. All right, now for the cracks, I basically just put a bead of glue all along the crack and try not to have it run down the side, because I just painted it and put on some Minwax ultra flat polyurethane to make it nice and smooth and scuff resistance, so it won't leave marks. Then I kind of spread the glue around a little bit, make sure it went into the crack. And then once I had the glue down, and then I would just sprinkle it with some more ballast. Also wanted to get rid of, I still had a few spots where the plaster was kind of showing through, and then I also had the black going over the side, over the top. So I wanted to get rid of the black patches there, as well as the remaining plaster showing through. So here's what it looked like after sprinkling the gravel on there. Definitely removed a lot of the cracks. I still had some bare spots there by the foundation of the engine house, but you can see for the most part it did a pretty good job, covered up most of the black spots. Decided not to do the right here by the edge. I figured I'd keep that the same color as the fascia. And here I just decided to throw some ground foam in there without gluing it down. I didn't want to try and glue it on that plexiglass, but didn't really feel like I needed to have it glued. Here you can see the ballast on there. It definitely hid the cracks so that they were no longer visible. Yeah, I wasn't too worried about by the plexiglass because it's not really noticeable. And again, here's the area where I put the ballast on. So basically just sprinkle ballast back and forth. A lot of it went on the floor, obviously, and just vacuumed it up. But definitely eliminated the crack, which is the main thing. And then here you can see I've painted a lot of the track. I still have some patches. I had to go over it 2 or 3 times in some places, but you can see for the most part a lot of it is covered up, although still a few patches. These first turnouts, there were a couple of places, but a lot of them are filled in. Here you can see on that crossover, you can see a lot of paint, and paint actually blends in pretty well. Some places are darker than others, but to be honest with you, the rail on the prototype is not that consistent in color either. So I think it worked out. It looks a lot better once you clean off the top of the rails after you paint it. And I just used the smallest paintbrush I could find, and then it just added it by hand. Now I did some more painting after this, so there's still a few spots. There you can see there's a spot there with a patch that needs to be covered up. But had to go probably 2 or 3 times before it got to where I wanted it to be. Here's another thing that was bothering me. This blue was showing underneath the foundation of the UP office. So didn't like that idea, so I just filled in that with some glue. I kind of did the same thing, filled it in with glue and then sprinkled some ballast on it. Here's what it kind of ended up being. Definitely a big improvement over it. And here you can see what the trees look like, and also what the lights look like. Definitely no more shadows. This is just a little bit below my eye level, and you can't see any of the... I still need to do that tree. I don't know how I missed that tree, but anyway. But here you can see I got the trees kind of filled in a little bit better with vegetation. And then I also used that same rail brown and dry brushed the trunks so that you have the light gray covered with a dry brushing of the rail brown. So it's kind of a blend of gray and brown. Actually, it came out pretty good, I think. Pretty realistic looking color-wise. And you can see I do have more of the rails painted a little bit more consistently as well. Here you can see it's almost, I still have that one patch right there I missed. And then I also added a little bit of vegetation too on the side here. Cover up any funky looking areas that didn't quite look right. Put some here around the plexiglass. Some of it fell between the plexiglass and the fascia. I'll have to remove that. Add some vegetation here also along the edge. So a little bit of touch up just to kind of make things look a little bit better, not have any glaring unprototypical looking areas. Got that electronic thing up so that you can't see it, and move the light up a little bit also. Again, this is below my eye level and it's still not able to be seen. Again, not a lot done this week, but I did do some touch up, and I had a great operating session. Didn't get to this touch up stuff until after the operating session. Would have liked to have had it done for that, but we had a great operating session. If you haven't taken a look at the live broadcast of a portion of that, it has a lot on the dispatching area. The dispatchers panel, and Chris did a great job of sharing information on how the dispatcher dispatches. So if you are interested in the ops session and especially the dispatching part, make sure you take a look at that live ops video that was recorded back on Thursday. So here you can see the top level and the bottom level. Now this is still what I consider basic scenery. There still is a ton of stuff that needs to be done. The buildings need to be painted. A lot of extra details need to be added. Things like electronics panels by the signals, PTC antennas by the signals. I still have a few seams on the backdrop that need to be taken care of, but then just a lot of detail stuff. I want to put some motor covers on the turnouts. Trying to look for a good detail casting to show the motor covers and all the turnout. Please make sure you like this video if you haven't already, and comment and share the video. I really appreciate that. Everything's looking pretty good. There's going to be an end of the year summary coming up, I think later today or tomorrow. Stay tuned for that also. Have a great new year, everyone. 2024 is going to be awesome. Take care, everybody.